Okay. Um, Today is Friday, and we're going to try to do some centers unless you're viewing the video early or say we're running a little bit behind and we didn't get a chance to do this. But I'm just going to talk to you about some centers that we can work on with place value. The first center I've kind of already mentioned in a previous video. And like I said, I understand that most of you may not have the opportunity to print stuff. I know sometimes I struggle with getting things printed. I have I can do things at school here, but typically at home, we run out of ink in the printer and stuff like that. And that's perfectly okay. What I would like you to do is practice your vocabulary. One thing, if you do have the capability to print, I don't want you to take this one apart, but I want you to print another copy of it and cut these apart. We have 12 vocabulary words and 12 definitions. I want you to just make a matching activity out of it. Go ahead and mix them up, and then try to match the vocabulary word up with its definition. And then you can use this to come back and double check and make sure you got it correct. So that's going to be a cool little center activity for you to work on. The other thing that we're going to do, and we're going to do that on page 12. And I went ahead and wrote, okay, we're going to use page 12 because we didn't use it when we were working on our place value chart. And sometimes we may skip pages and leave them open. We may use those pages for other things, for practicing stuff, or if we need a piece of paper to write on, we can always come to one of our empty pages. I mean, like there's some open area right there we could use to work on stuff, and we don't have some open area right there. You could use page 6 to work on some stuff. Okay, so we're not always going to use every page in our journal. Okay, but just today I decided to we're going to use the right side to do our center activity. Okay, so this was the last page in our packet, and I'll show you what I'd like you to do with it. So again, if you do not, if you don't have capability to print, that's perfectly okay. If you do, this would be kind of a cool thing to do, and you can do it. You don't have to really have these little cards to do this. You could just write word form, expanded form, standard form, expanded form, pictorial model, and word form in your journal. But if you do have these cards, it'll be a kind of cool activity. It'll save you writing a few words down. And then also, we're going to use there's 3 different ways you can do it. Okay, one way you could use number cards that we made. They're back here in our journal. Okay, use these number cards. Okay, or you can use a deck of cards, or you can use dice. Okay, and if you're using dice, it would work better if you had 4 dice. But if you only have 1 die, you can just roll it 4 different times. So I'm going to cut all the dotted lines. And create a little flip tab thing. Okay, I'm going to cut, separate right there to that solid line. I'll do that on all 3 of these. So basically there's going to be 3 rounds you can do. We're going to produce a number with either dice, playing cards, or our number cards that we made to practice our expanded form. Okay, what you're going to do is go ahead and take and fold on the solid line. And take a little bit of glue, or you can use tape, or however you decide to attach this to your journal. But if you're using glue, do not use too much because it messes up the pages behind it. Or if you put too much on there and you close the book up, you're gluing your pages together. You see, I use a thin line. Really, 3 dots would probably work. I'm going to place that right there. Okay, I take this one and fold it on the solid line. Take a little bit of glue. If you got your school supplies, you should have a little bit of glue. I think we have a liquid glue and stick glue. In class, we like to use stick glue a lot because it typically makes less messes. So, you know, I kind of drug it there a little bit, so I'm going to have a little bit of excess glue on my page. So I'm going to want to wait for it to dry before I try to close my book up. Otherwise, I'm going to end up gluing my pages together. And the last one. And you can do these in any order, it doesn't really matter. So sparingly, use the glue sparingly. Okay, the first way we're going to do it is I'm going to use some dice. Actually, okay, you can see I added a pencil box that can kind of contain my dice for me. So if you only have one dice, we're going to create a four-digit number. So if you have one dice, you have to roll it 4 times. But I have 4 dice, so I'm just going to roll all of them at one time. And I'm going to say I want to try to make the largest number I can with those 4 digits. So that would be, and I'm going to do this on the top one. So that's going to be 5,411. So that's the number I produced with my dice. So, and I did it in standard form right there. So I'm going to go ahead, underneath this tab, I'm going to write 5,411 underneath that tab. Okay, and then I'm going to do an expanded form. So if you want to get your cards out, we'll do that. Get your cards out that we produced over here. We kind of use that to help us with our expanded form. Hopefully it doesn't dry while I have it flipped over there, huh? So I go ahead, and I can't really do 11, but so 5,400. I'll get my 1 down for my tens place at least. Maybe I'll make another card. I got another set of cards over there. Okay, and 1 here. I'll just make 1 more card here. This will be an extra 1, put a 0 on the back of it. So that is 5,411. So for expanded form, if I want to try to figure out what the value of the 5 is, flip over all the cards except for the 5. That looks like it's 5,000. So I'm going to write 5,000. Okay. Now I want to go back to do my hundreds place. So I flip over all the cards except for the 4. And that's 400 plus 400. And then if I want to do the tens place, I'll flip over everything except for that 1. You can see that is 10. Okay, and the last, my ones place, I'll flip over everything except for the ones place, and it's 1. So 5,411 is 5,000, an expanded form is 5,000 plus 400 plus 10 plus 1. And that is how we do that flat. Okay. You don't have to do these same numbers. As a matter of fact, I want you to do this on your own. I'm just kind of giving you examples of a way to do it. And if that way it's more of a center activity. Okay, the next way we'll do it is we will use our number cards, the ones we made in our journal. So we're going to go ahead and take, if you remember in our journal when we made these, the solid side had all the 0 through 9 digits. So I'm just going to lay out 4 of them. So 1,000, they're going to be in order. 2,000, yeah, they did end up in order. I didn't shuffle too well, did I? So 1,236. So I'm going to put that into word form. Okay, and if I'm not really sure how to spell the words, I can flip back over here in my journal to the word form, and that way I can spell it correctly. But I'll go ahead and write the number down in standard form. So that is 1,236. And that's actually the smallest number I can make with those 4 digits. So that's 1,000. I'm going to put a comma right there. 200. It's TWOHUNDRED. 200. Go over one more line. 36. That's THIRTY. And whenever I have something, a value in the ones place and my tens place ends in a Y, okay, I'm going to hyphenate that as 36. So 1,236, and that's how we do it in word form. Expanded form again. It's already sticking there a little bit so expanded form. That's 1,000 plus 200 plus 30 plus 6. So 1,236 in expanded form is 1,000 plus 200 plus 30 plus 6. Okay, and last way we can, you don't have to use all these different ways. If you just want to use dice to do this whole center, that's good. If you, so I'm going to go ahead and put my number cards back here. A little pouch and zip it up so I don't lose it. Okay, this time we're going to use cards and just regular playing cards right here. So you can go through and take, like all the face cards and tens and jokers out if you want. Okay, or we could just say if we get a card that's not an ace through a 9, that's automatically a 0. We'll say that. So let's go ahead, get these are shuffled up a little bit. We'll take 4 of the cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll try to make the largest number we can with those 4 cards. So, okay, well, my joker is going to end up being a 0, so I'm going to put that in the ones place. My ace is in the tens place. My 2 will be in the hundreds place, and my 3 will be in the thousands place. That's the largest number I can make. So I can take my largest digit, since I'm trying to make the largest number. Okay. You can do this completely randomly too. You don't. That's just the way I'm doing it this time. If you just want to take and write the digits down randomly to produce your 4-digit number, that's okay when you're doing the center. And you can do this as many times as you like. You can get a piece of scratch paper and do this on, or some of your extra line paper. That's perfectly okay. But so that's 3,210. 3,210. Okay, so pictorial form. Okay, I'm going to start. You can really do it in any order. I just like to do it in the same way that you would see it. We start the lowest. You can start at the lowest place value, and since I don't have anything in the ones place, I'd have no units. I could go ahead and start with my tens place, which would be 1 rod. Okay, my hundreds would be 2 flats, because there's 200. And my thousands is going to be 3 cubes. So that's how we would do a pictorial model of 3,210, because there's nothing in the ones place. I don't have any units there. Okay, and we do word form. Okay, I'll go over here and do it in word form. So that's 3, THREE, thousand, THOUSAND. I'm gonna put my comma right there, because I put a comma just between my thousands and hundreds place. That's 200, TWOHUNDRED, 200, 10, TEN. Okay, so you see I didn't have a value in the ones place right there, and 10 doesn't end in a Y. There wouldn't be anything in the ones place because I put 10 there, because that just signifies there's 0 in the ones place. But I don't have my tens place isn't in a Y, and I don't have a value in the ones place, so I don't have to hyphenate anything. But that's how you would write 3,210 in word form. So what I want you to do is go ahead and just pick. You can use all three if you like I did. You could use just cards if that's all you have. If you don't have dice or a die and cards, you can use those number cards to produce all your numbers. That's perfectly okay. And if you don't have the tabs, that's okay too. Just go ahead and make your number in standard form, and you can write standard form, expanded form, word form, expanded form, pictorial model, and word form, and just go ahead and do the same activities and write in your journal. That way you have some examples of those different all the stuff that we've learned this week. So like I said, if any of this is confusing to you, you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call here at the school during normal school hours. I'll have a syllabus in there, kind of talks about when I'm available, but most of the time, if you send me an email, that's going to be the best thing. That's shoemakert@ccisd.com. Message me through Schoology is probably the next best way of getting a hold of me, and the third best way would be to call the number 254-518-3000, and they'll connect you to my room. Sometimes they may have me doing different things. Sometimes I'll have a different duty or something where I may not be in the room. I have to take some students to recess or something like that, so I may not be here 100% of the time, but I'll always have my phone with me, and email's going to be the first thing that I see. So if you send me an email saying, Mr. Shoemaker, I understand this, I can always give you. You can send me an email with your phone number, and I'll give you a call back just as soon as I can. So if you're doing this on Friday, we have a weekend coming up. So take some time, have some fun this weekend. Work with any of these centers. A couple other centers. I'll have a folder with centers on there that will talk about this, and I'll probably put this video in there. But we hopefully we'll have your logins to get you into iReady and Extra Math by this time. And that's one of the other things you can work on your centers days. And I'd recommend the Extra Math. That's something for you to do daily. And iReady is probably something else that you should be working on relatively, probably for about 45 minutes to an hour a week, working on iReady lessons and stuff like that. And that's something else we'll do on center days. And just want y'all to go ahead. Like I said, we're going to cover everything in these videos virtually that the students are doing in class. So you're not going to miss anything by taking the lessons online. And I want you to take your time in your journals here, because this is something, if you do come back to the classroom, that you will use, or you'll be able to reference this all your life. I've had students that do these journals in previous grade levels, and they'll bring them with them, and teachers probably more than happy to allow you to utilize this information that you produced. And for sure, they're doing the same thing in class. that you're doing at home. So if you do end up back in a classroom situation, you'll have all this information to reference later on. So go ahead and let you go, and you'll have a great weekend.